One local family is making a difference this Christmas, distributing gifts to over 600 families in Hazel Green, and it's all to keep one local legacy alive. Fox 54's Caleb Aguilar shows us how the Thomas family is acting as Santa's helpers this holiday season.
Walk inside this little storefront and you'll hear the sound of another family getting the help they need. This is Santa's Helpers, where founder Gary Thomas was giving out gifts to children for almost 30 years. He passed away from pancreatic cancer in October, leaving behind his family and a warehouse with thousands of gifts. His dying wish to see that the toy distribution keeps going. To him, it was critical to help families that can't afford a massive celebration.
A lot of these families can't afford to buy for their families. Can't afford furniture if they have a fire, they need help. Domestic violence, a lot of women leave with nothing but the clothing on their back. And it's gotten to where thrift shops are so expensive, people just can't afford to buy it. So we don't make any requirements unless there's a need.
Gary's widow, Barbara Thomas, is continuing the giveaway this Christmas. She says it's really all about the kids.
It doesn't matter what problems the parents are having. What matters is the kids. The kids deserve something.
Thomas also says Gary would take used toys and repair each one by hand, meticulously making sure each toy worked just right for the kid that got it.
He had to make sure every used toy worked perfectly good. He would play with the guitars, he would wear the hats, he would sing to karaoke machines. He had to check out everything.
To him, the important part was making sure every child had a Christmas.
He just thought if he could change one child's life by doing something good, it was well worth it.
And for a local Santa Claus like Gary Thomas, just doing something good can have a lasting legacy. In Hazel Green, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
The family is keeping the distribution going, but they're struggling to stay open past March because of the rising costs to operate. Thomas says they're looking for clothes, boys' toys, and financial assistance. You can help out by checking the family's GoFundMe page, which you can find on fox54.com. The Alabama legislative session begins in just a few weeks, and dozens of bills have already been pre-filed. More than 130, to be exact, from the House and Senate are waiting to be read. One of the first will be House Bill 78. This legislation hones in on screen time for children.
The earliest years of a child's life, birth to 5, are the most important period of brain development that child will ever experience.
State Representative Gina Ross is one of the legislators who filed House Bill 78 for the upcoming legislative session. She's a former educator herself, previously serving as the state's Secretary of Early Childhood Education.
We've seen a lot of excessive screen use over the years. It seems to be getting worse.
The CDC says screen time for kids under 2 years old should be avoided. The American Academy of Pediatrics says 2 to 5 year olds should be limited to an hour of screen time per day. HB 78 will require new guidelines surrounding screen time for kids in kindergarten, pre-K, and daycare. Those guidelines include no screen time for kids under 2 years old. For ages 2 to 4, screen time will be limited to 30 minutes per day or 90 minutes per week.
Part of this bill is that teachers will receive training. You know, a lot of times people just don't know what is the best way to do things. And I know teachers. I've worked with them my whole career, and they always want to do what's best and right for children. And so having this training and teaching them other strategies and things to do instead of a screen is going to be important.
Under the proposed legislation, the Department of Early Childhood Education would develop guidelines defining high-quality programming for educational settings and distribute guidelines for parents about healthy screen practices at home.
This is not to be restrictive or a ban or that sort of thing. It's to offer them support in ways to best interact with children. You know, what's appropriate, what's the best way to have that child play, talk, learn self-regulation. Those are the things that are the foundations of learning, and it matters the rest of their life.
Ross believes HB 78 could set a standard not just for the Yellowhammer State, but for other states as well. If passed, the bill will be implemented in January 2027.
Now, the Tennessee Valley's certified most accurate forecast from the Fox 54 Weather Impact Team.
And a very, very, very Merry Christmas Eve to you. We're talking about some of the warmest air we've seen in close to 10 years as far as Christmas Eve and Christmas Day are concerned. A good Christmas Eve morning to you. I'm Fox 54 Weather Impact Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We're going to warm up somewhat quickly as we head into the later part of the morning and then early into the afternoon. 63 at 9, 69 by noon, 71 degrees by the time we get to 3 p.m., 66 at 6 o'clock this evening. A number of Christmas Eve services across North Alabama, Southern and Middle Tennessee. You probably spent the last couple of months picking out your most favorite winter outfit. Maybe you bought something new, maybe a nice new sweater, a nice new suit coat. It is going to be way too warm to wear any of that to Christmas Eve service. So maybe you'll do it just in the name of a really good picture, but maybe get the pictures out of the way early, because if you're wearing a sweater to Christmas Eve service, 71 at 3, 66 by 6 p.m., you are going to sweat. The church might actually need to turn on the air conditioner, because it seems as we head into Christmas, churches are unusually crowded, both Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So maybe we're actually going to have to turn on the AC in church tonight. I will have to get to church uncharacteristically early to ensure that nobody takes my spot. Then as we head into Christmas Day, a partly cloudy sky, a couple of peaks of sunshine across the Tennessee Valley, but we are still going to be dealing with a fair amount of cloud cover. Temperatures sitting in the lower 70s for your Christmas Day. I've got a high temperature right around 72 degrees. Again, we're talking about some of the warmest air we've seen in close to 10 years for both Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. The warmest Christmas Day ever recorded at the Huntsville International Airport was actually back in 2016. I want to say the high temperature was 76 or 77 this year. So it goes without saying that we're not getting a white Christmas. You probably didn't need me to tell you that, but in case you did, we're not getting a white Christmas. We haven't had a white Christmas since 2010, where the Huntsville International Airport picked up 2.5 inches of snow. The overall chances of a white Christmas on any given year are legitimately somewhere between 0 and 10%. There have been other miscellaneous years where trace amounts of snow have been recorded at the airport, but you don't really count a trace amount of snow. But in terms of Christmas, we're going to put those years down: 1909, 1929, 69, 1980, 83, 85. A nice streak there in the 80s where we had trace amounts of snow. So 3 years in, close to a row, I suppose, where it was cold. 1993 and 2002. We also had trace amounts of snow. Maybe a couple of light rain showers as we head into the afternoon. This activity going to develop. Futurecast does a really good job at picking up on the degree to which we're going to be talking about a couple of light rain showers. It's arguably difficult to call it even rain, maybe a little bit of light drizzle at times, a mostly cloudy sky as we head into the afternoon. A couple of peaks of sunshine. We are going to get a little bit of sunshine before the sun sets, right around 4:45, but understand that for the most part, we're going to maintain that mostly cloudy sky. Now the clouds begin to break as we head into the overnight and then early into your Christmas morning. Should be no problems for Santa landing in North Alabama. By the time we get to the earliest hours of your Christmas morning, though, that cloud cover is going to begin to build back into the Tennessee Valley, and Futurecast keeps us under an overcast sky through Christmas afternoon, and then even as we head into the evening. I do think we're going to get a few breaks in the clouds. I do think we're going to get to enjoy a little bit of sunshine, but it's going to be somewhat difficult to come by. We do hold on to the 70s post-Christmas, 71 and 70 degrees for both Friday and Saturday, 68 degrees on Sunday. Now, Sunday brings about almost a guarantee that it is going to rain. That rain's going to be associated with a cold front, and that's going to drop our temperatures as we head into Monday and Tuesday of next week. Though plenty of sunshine Monday and Tuesday, that's not going to be a problem, but temperature's only going to climb into the upper 30s, maybe the lower 40s. Stick around to Fox 54 Plus. Got more weather and traffic updates coming up. Thank you.
No one child deserved what happened to Tristan D. Cedric Clark.
In 2023, Tristan Clark's family asked for justice. Now, 2 years later, his mother, Jacoya Clark, is asking a federal judge to consider her son's case.
They're going to put a very defense, use every means necessary to them to try to avoid liability in this case.
The family's attorney, Reginald McDaniel, is talking about the city of Tuscaloosa Police Department and West Alabama Narcotics Task Force. McDaniel says on December 20th, 2023, Clark was in the car when those agencies made a traffic stop near Bowers Park in Tuscaloosa.
Tristan Clark lost his life. He was killed by the officer, who we believe was Officer Ray, who fired 4 shots at close range into Tristan Clark's upper body and head.
McDaniel says there's no body camera footage. It wasn't required for narcotics officers then. At the time, Tuscaloosa police said there was a fight between the group of people in the car and officers as they worked their investigation.
We don't believe, based on our investigations, based on people we've talked to, that the struggle happened the way the investigators said it happened.
The $100 million lawsuit maintains Clark wasn't causing any problems and kept his hands in the air despite officers berating him. Clark's death left his 3 young children without a father and his family searching for answers.
These are stories that I read about.
Answers Jacoya Clark hopes she'll get in the courtroom.
You are watching what could be the future of deliveries. All you need is a phone to order a drop-off from a drone.
One of the things we like to say is we're approximating teleportation.
Eric Watson is the head of systems engineering for Zipline, a drone delivery startup that's taking on Goliaths like Google and Amazon in hopes of being a household name.
How common is this going to be?
If you live in some places right now, this is already common.
Dallas is the test bed for drone delivery, where at about 20 different Walmarts, Zipline has deployed what it calls drone nests. When an order comes in, workers take the package out to a Zipline drone, docked and ready to go. But to see how it really works, they let me try it. I picked what I wanted through the company's app, specified the drop-off point, and about 10 minutes later...
Oh, there it is. I can see it. Open it up. There's my brown sugar. We have transcended the need to have to go to your neighbors for this. That's pretty cool.
It is just a taste of what the Trump administration wants nationwide, requiring major changes to safety standards in the sky. The Federal Aviation Administration's proposed rule is called Beyond Visual Line of Sight. It would allow delivery drones to fly themselves autonomously with one person monitoring multiple drones from inside a control room.
Our airspace is already taxed to the max.
Captain Jason Ambrosi heads the Airline Pilots Association, which submitted one of 3,000 public comments on the proposed rule.
We're calling on the FAA to make sure they do a robust safety risk assessment to ensure that you're not diminishing the safety standards by allowing these drones to operate in airspace where the traveling and shipping public are operating every day.
The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating how 2 Amazon drones hit a crane in Arizona in October. Now pilots fear a drone colliding with a commercial flight could spell disaster. FAA Administrator Brian Bedford.
We can make drones recognize aircraft that are transponding and take evasive action.
The drone industry's top lobby insists safety is paramount. It anticipates a final rule allowing this nationwide in the new year. Part of a new frontier, flying to your doorstep.
Being able to have products delivered where you need them, when you need them, with a right-sized solution that's good for the environment, safe, quiet, and seamlessly integrates into our communities, that's the world that I want to live in.
The Justice Department has released tens of thousands of new documents connected to the investigations into late financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. While voluminous, the release contained little revelatory information that wasn't already in the public domain. It contains multiple mentions of President Donald Trump, who was friends with the financier before they had a falling out. One of those mentions was in an email from a prosecutor who was flagging that Trump had traveled on Epstein's private plane multiple times in the 1990s. The email was sent in January of 2020, shortly before the filing of a criminal case against Epstein's co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell. It said that Trump was listed as a passenger 8 times between 1993 and 1996. Maxwell was also listed as a passenger on 4 of those flights. The prosecutor who wrote the email said they were doing so because they didn't want the information to come as a surprise. Asked for comment about that email, the White House pointed to a Justice Department statement saying that the release included false claims about Trump submitted to the FBI before the 2020 election. Trump himself has expressed frustration about the controversy over the files, saying that it was distracting from the successful work Republicans are doing.
Keep your attention right about here because something fantastic is about to happen. Here we go. There we go. Yes, bam.
One of the biggest trends that the toy industry is seeing this year is the rise of kidults. This is anyone over the age of 12 that is buying toys to play with. So our consumer now goes up to 100 years old.
The racing car game is fine for grown-ups too. And now they've got motorbikes as well.
We've seen some really strong themes come through. So for example, the kidult category is a very, very popular trend, especially around lots of the movies coming out and nostalgia. So think Harry Potter, think Elf. They're driving a lot of those trends and purchases and licensed products this year.
It's such an incredible demonstration of the longevity of the shows and what they mean to people. And the really nice thing I've seen here is strangers who will come together in front of a display case and they'll both point at the same item and they'll connect through the memory of a toy. Despite they've never met each other, they may have lived hundreds of miles apart, and maybe they watch the shows in different decades, and yet it still means something to them and connects people emotionally.
If you're one of the millions of Americans with pain that doesn't go away, you may find relief in medicine, but a dose of kindness may be a helpful prescription.
Kindness is really an expression of care. And what ends up happening is it can induce an incredible amount of positive emotional states.
Pain management Dr. Trishul Kapoor with Cleveland Clinic says when that positivity floods our brains, it can release feel-good hormones like dopamine and serotonin and can actually disrupt pain pathways and reduce overall perception of that pain.
In the same sense, kindness becomes almost sort of a life hack, and we call it the helper's high, to be able to have that same mechanism to have benefit in your overall mental health and well-being.
Kapoor says being kind can also increase levels of hormones like oxytocin, which can dilate blood vessels and lower blood pressure. And the best part is, the acts of kindness that may bring relief can also be simple, like getting involved in the community, volunteering, giving financially, or giving of your time to help others. Even saying hello or greeting someone else can go a long way.
To treat any kind of condition, it's more than just medications and interventions. It needs to be treated holistically because life outside of an appointment room or a hospital is quite large, and we can't always control all of that with a medication or a specific treatment.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Merry Christmas from Taylor Swift. The music superstar has donated $1 million to Feeding America, a nonprofit network of 200 U.S. food banks. The group's CEO announced the gift on social media, noting her continued support is a powerful reminder of what's possible when we unite to end hunger. Swift and her fans have made previous donations to the group.
He tries to get to the heart of an emotion of these characters and explore the human condition.
Leonardo DiCaprio is the latest actor to question using AI in Hollywood. The actor told Time magazine there's no humanity to AI art, and anything that is going to be authentically thought of as art has to come from the human being.
It's not real, normal.
Nightmares don't make you a monster.
They do if you can make them come true.
Stranger Things is everywhere. The Tony-winning Broadway show Stranger Things: The First Shadow just had its biggest box office week since opening in April. Fueled in part, no doubt, by the streaming series returning for its final season. In Hawkins, Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Families are hard.
Just, please.
That's why I make sure people get good goodbyes.
Kate Winslet directs and plays one of 4 siblings dealing with their mother's final days in Goodbye June.
Have you got any mascara? Make me look presentable. I've never died before. I want to look nice when it happens.
The project began with a script Winslet's son, Joe Anders, wrote for film school at age 19.
I just said to him, you've written something extraordinary. Let's not give it away. We should do it. And it was absolutely amazing. And I'm just so proud that we did it.
I try not to be ageist in life, but it really did blow my mind that somebody so young could be so astute in his observations about what it is to be human and the cycle of life, and particularly motherhood and family and those dynamics that play out within families. It's just so beautifully balanced and recognises the pain as well as the levity.
Winslet shared the script with friend and frequent collaborator Andrea Riseborough.
And she read it and she went, I have to play Molly. Please let me play Molly. So suddenly I turned to Joe and I'm like, I think we have a show.
She has so many decades of experience, and she's somebody who's so curious and engaged and has absorbed all of the things that she's found useful and let go of all of the things that she thought could fall by the wayside. So really a very organic, for want of a better word, experience.
I love you all so much. But I love you twice as much when you love each other.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Now, Fox 54's Top Teacher, sponsored by Calhoun Community College.
I'm excited to introduce this week's Fox 54's Top Teacher. Not only was she nominated once, she was nominated twice, and by parents. We got to catch her just before the holidays. Her name is Katrina Campbell, fourth grade teacher from Owens Crossroads Elementary School. Here's the moment she was surprised.
I'd like to take this moment to recognize Miss Katrina Campbell as Fox 54 top teacher. Congratulations.
A hearty congratulations to Mrs. Katrina Campbell. She's been teaching for a total of 19 years and has been around the world, including South Korea and Alaska, but has made Owens Crossroads Elementary her home. This is her third year at OCR. Campbell says fourth grade is her favorite.
It's my heart grade. I've done all the grades, K through 8, except for 5th. And I was third grade for my first 2 years at OCR, so I rolled up with this group of babies, and fourth is just my favorite because they're able to joke with you, they're able to be independent but still love school and get excited for anything that you throw at them.
Her fourth graders love her too. We spoke with the kids of the parents who nominated Mrs. Campbell, Amelia and Adam. Here's why they like her.
I got to be in her class last year and this year. It's always fun. And if you're really nice to her, she's nice to you. But if you're bad to her, she's even worse. When I'm sad, she'll comfort me, and she'll let me draw when I want to. If I'm like stressed.
Oh yeah, a well-deserved award for Mrs. Campbell. Check out the full clip of her surprise as a Fox 54 top teacher and her full interview on Fox 54 Plus, and of course, nominated teacher on fox54.com.
For hundreds of years, it's been a big secret.
This Christmas, there's a new tradition for Diana Zito and her family.
It now can be shared if you promise to keep it.
His name is Doodles, their elf on the shelf.
My mom thought of it, and she thought it would be a good name.
The Zitos welcomed Doodles into their home after being inspired by the elves in their son Luca's school. The elves are set up in different scenarios daily to help Santa monitor who's being naughty and who's being nice.
One of his friends actually said, well, I just thought everyone had an elf. And so we were a little bit peer pressured into it. But I think that's just, it's a testament. It just speaks to how much of a Christmas tradition it has become.
20 years ago in Marietta, Georgia, Shanda Bell and her family created the new tradition Elf on the Shelf that has since cemented itself into Christmas lore.
I was sitting with my mom having tea one day, and I looked up and I saw our elf that we grew up with sitting on a shelf. And I said, Mom, we should write a story about our elf.
That idea led them into the Santaverse, creating stories of Santa's North Pole for books animated series,
and fly up north to see Saint Nick.
and games. Their impact can be seen through the troves of letters children mail in during Christmas.
So some of them are letters to kids from Santa Claus. Some of them are from schools. This one asks us to please don't cancel Christmas. But it says you bring joy to our world, right? And so I can't imagine anything more special than that.
In the decades ahead, Belle hopes to bring more joy to families through their stories without losing sight of the original magic that helped them win the hearts of many.
We take that with a lot of responsibility. We understand that we're the voice of Santa Claus for an entire generation of families.
All right, you want to go look at him? Hey, Doodles.
In the end, there's no greater joy for a parent than seeing their children happy on Christmas.
When they come running in our room and say, "We found the elf, Doodles is here, Doodles is there," they've just really enjoyed it, and I think it definitely will become a tradition in our house. We'll have Doodles back next year and beyond.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Right now I'm currently Sergeant of Patrol Day Shift.
And it was during his day shift last week near the town of McKinney that Sergeant Terrell Coles began to notice something strange on the side of the road.
So the packages was left right here on the side of the road here by these road mailboxes.
With 13 years on the job patrolling Dinwiddie County, he knew that wasn't right.
Normally speaking, FedEx will deliver packages and deliver them to your doorstep.
So he decided to stop.
Because there were so many left in one spot.
And take a closer look at the addresses on the package and those on the mailboxes.
They were not consistent with the numbers on the package.
Sergeant Coles called FedEx and talked with a manager who he says told him
he was going to send someone out to meet me and retrieve those packages.
That didn't happen, so after 3 days, with the packages secure in the back of his patrol car.
So at that point, I took off my sheriff's office hat and put on my Santa Claus hat and decided to deliver some packages.
Olivia Davis was one of the first to get a knock on her door.
I go to the door and he's like, "Are you missing a package?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'd actually given up on the package."
While the contents were secure, the box,
it was crumpled up. You can tell when cardboard gets wet.
As word spread online about the packages being found, it turned out others were finding packages on the side of the road as well. Roy Maitland works for the town of McKinney and spotted 4 big boxes on his way into work.
So I stopped and checked them, and they were full packages.
Maitland says those boxes were about a football field away from the Dollar General parking lot. As for Olivia's package,
from here, I'll say roughly about 7 miles.
As for why Sergeant Coles decided to play Santa,
I put myself in their shoes, and I know how I would feel if I ordered something and didn't get here on time.
As for his short-term delivery job,
one thing about police work, you wear many different hats, and this is just another hat.
As for the recipients, they were very happy with his decision.
I thought it was really kind of him to personally come and drop it off.
Fox 54 Plus has your news, sports, and weather. Start your evening with Fox 54 at 5:30, delivering the latest headlines and live reports straight from the scene. Then, stay informed with Fox 54 News at 9, featuring your Tennessee Valley certified most accurate weather impact team, tracking everything from tornado threats to traffic delays during severe weather. Fox 54 Sports Extra brings you more of what sports fans crave, with deeper insights, expert analysis, and all the action that matters most. On Fox 54 Plus, you'll also find Alabama politics, plus 24/7 weather radar and real-time forecasts to keep you ahead of the storm. Looking for a quick recap? Don't miss Fox 54 Week in Review, highlighting the biggest stories of the week. Jumpstart your morning with Morning Rush, fast-paced news updates featured with uplifting stories from across the globe. Get your entertainment fix with Getting Real, where we break down movie reviews, top 10 lists, and spotlight the newest film. Die Hard fan? Locked On Sports dives deep into the Crimson Tide, the Tigers, college rivalries, and pro action. True crime warrior style? Killer Cases brings you gripping real-life stories that stick with you. Hungry for more? Cooking with Style serves up mouth-watering recipes that are easy to make and impossible to resist. From movie previews before you head to the theater with Take a Look, to must-know headlines from across the region and around the world with In the News. Watch all of these shows on demand and also on the Fox 54 News app. Available on Android and iOS devices. Streaming 24/7.